Alright folks, it's Rocket here. I know it's been a little bit while since I put a video out. Been kind of busy at work and working on these pieces off camera. So this is the passenger side front fender. I don't know if I'd shown you before how bad this was here. This was all, obviously you can tell by the scratch, it was all gouged in. All I did was basically reshape the metal here. This was gouged in. This down here was all folded under. You can see by, well, maybe you can see, by the cracked paint right here that this was folded under. And this up front here was all smashed in. Anywhere it's rusty right here, this was all crunched in. So what I did was, let me lift this up so I can show you. Okay. Now this piece here is your support bracket for the front of this fender. I pulled that out of there, I drilled these spot welds out, pulled that out of there because this was all mangled too. So that way I could straighten out this corner. You can see there's a little bit of metal missing. You see, that's kind of sort of what it used to look like. You can see there's some metal missing here. It's not exactly the same as the other side, but you know what? It fits pretty good now. But you can see how that's a lot smoother now. Plus, this front piece right here, this was all pushed in as well. So I got that to come back out. The trim piece that goes around this edge here fits a lot better now. And then I straightened this piece out and retacked it back in, so now it's actually all nice and supported in there. Now right here there wasn't a tack weld there before. Now I'm gonna have to sand it off a little bit so that way it's flat, because right there next to it is a screw hole, which get a little closer, you might, yep, there you go. But that I did basically to try and support this corner better, because there's not a whole lot of metal left here to support it. But yeah, this fender's not in as nearly a bad a shape as the other side was, but I still have, I don't know if you can see how thick the Bondo is right there. Still got a bunch of Bondo in here to sand off and figure out, okay, what do I got to work with? You can see how thick it is there in the holes for the trim pieces. It's not thin. So once I sand all that out, I can figure out exactly what's left to work with on this one. But yeah, that's what I've been working on. Bring it back here in a second. Alright, so this here passenger side, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but underneath the battery here, this is how badly chewed up this area is. To give you a better idea of it, once I pulled that fender off and I got this whole inner fender loose so I could see. But yeah, it's pretty far gone right there. So like I said before, I've got patch panels coming for the radiator support, or radiator, depending on where you're from. And I don't think they make a patch panel for the actual inner fender, but that one I'm going to have to just patch up on my own, which shouldn't be too terribly hard. But just wanted to give you guys an update on what was going on. Oh, the other thing. My buddy came up from South Carolina and brought his micrometer with him so we could measure the crankshaft for this 350 that I was going to rebuild to put into the truck, but never did. Well, once he remeasured it, we also figured out that my micrometer, I didn't have it zeroed right. So what I said about needing funky size bearings was incorrect. This one actually will go back together with standard bearings, so that saves me a lot of time and money. So you may see this one again in a later project, but for right now, that's what I got going on. Alright, since I already showed you the repair I did up front on this fender, I figured Time for some more Bondo removal. So you can see where they put a patch in on the back here before. And of course, like I said before, it started rotting right back out again. I don't know how old these patches are, but obviously they've been here for a while. And yet again, they slapped a whole crap load of thick Bondo on here to try and cover up their repairs. Now, a couple of spots right here you can see that's where had some rust pitting or maybe some tiny little holes. But there's another one. The I don't know. I know I've ranted about it, but I keep ranting about it. I cannot understand why you need so much Bondo. Come on, focus. Why'd you go out of focus? There we go. So much Bondo to cover up your work. I mean, if your work is that bad, why are you doing it? I don't know. Show you more. Alright, the lighting ain't the greatest in here because the sun's out, but got most of the Bondo off of it. It's all the way up into here, and probably because of this dent and this dent. There's no access from the back of it to be able to pop those out, so they just bonded over them, which, yeah, I get that. I had a little bit here on this edge, not a lot, so I'm not exactly sure why they did that, because I don't feel any dents, but they had a whole bunch, well, a light layer, not a whole bunch, a light layer all along here where the trim spear goes, and that's probably because of rust pitting. That's usually why they do that. Up front here, I had already shown you I popped this here gouge back out, which was, I'm amazed it came out that nice. Very blessed on that one. Now, down here, they had a bunch of Bondo, which is kind of hard to see, but it's because this whole thing was curled underneath. It was hit at some point, and the bumper was pushed into it. So they just pulled the bumper out, and I don't even know if they pulled this back out. I don't know what, but anyhow, a little bit up here next to where all this front end damage was that I straightened out. So for this one, it's not going to be near as extensive a fix as the other side. I just have a little spot here, and then this down here, which is, this side's immaculate compared to the other side. So, I mean, in the front here, there's a slight little hole right here. Yep, there you can see it, I think. See the daylight through it anyway. So this side's going to be a little bit easier. So yeah, smooth the paint out after I get done patching it, and this side will be ready to go too. Anyhow, almost time to take care of the animals, so that's it for now. Have a good one.